morning grade 3. Welcome back to grade 3 mathematics class. How are you all doing today? Today, let's see some word problems which involve both addition and subtraction within the same question. So let's see the first question. This is a solved example from your textbook given in page number 45. So the question says, Lena has 132 building blocks. She gave 18 blocks to Rahul and 28 blocks to Aditya. How many blocks are left with her? So what is given in the question? Lena has a total of 132 building blocks with her and she gave away 18 blocks out of this to Rahul and she gave away another 28 blocks to Aditya. Now you are asked to find out how many blocks are left with her after giving away all these blocks. So let's see how we can solve this question. This can be solved in two different ways. So this can be solved in two different methods. Let's see the first method. So in the question it says that Lena had 132 blocks with her. So let's write the step as number of blocks Lena had. That is equal to 132. Now how many blocks did she give to Rahul? Number of blocks given to Rahul is equal to 18. Now how many blocks are left with her? After giving away 18 blocks to Rahul, let's find out how many blocks are left with Lena. How do we find it out? So we know the number of blocks she had with her in the beginning and we know how many she gave to Rahul. So number of blocks now left with Lena will be equal to the number of blocks she had in the beginning minus the number of blocks given to Rahul. And that would be equal to 132 minus 18. So now Lena is left with a total of 114 blocks. Now it's also mentioned in the question that she gave away another 28 blocks to Aditya. So out of these 114 blocks, she gave away these 28 blocks. So how do we write the step for it? Number of blocks given to Aditya is equal to 28 and then the number of blocks finally left with Lena. That would be equal to 114 blocks. This is the number of blocks left with her after giving away 18 blocks to Rahul. So that 114 minus the number of blocks given to Aditya. That is equal to 114 minus 28 and that gives you 86 blocks. So finally, Lena was left with 86 building blocks. So this was one method. Let's see how we can solve this in a different way. Method 2. So as mentioned in the question, number of blocks given to Rahul is equal to 18 and number of blocks given to Aditya is equal to 28. So now let's find out how many blocks in total she gave to these two people. So the total number of blocks given will be equal to the number of blocks given to Rahul plus the number of blocks given to Aditya. That is equal to 18 plus 28 and that is equal to 46 blocks. So Lena gave away a total of 46 blocks to these two people. Now we know the total number of blocks she had in the beginning and we know the total number of blocks she gave to these people. Then how do we find out the number of blocks left with her? So here in this case the number of blocks now left with Lena will be equal to the number of blocks she had minus the total number of blocks given. So that would be equal to 132 minus 46 and it gives you the same answer, 86 blocks. Like we said, this question could be done in two methods but both methods will give you the same answer. Now we will see one more example. So the next question, it says Raj has to travel a total distance of 732 km. If he has covered 423 km by train and 132 km by bus, how much more distance is yet to be covered by him? So this is a question which has a pattern similar to the previous example. This can also be done in two methods. In the question it says Raj has to travel a total distance of 732 kilometers. So the total distance to be covered is given as 732 kilometers. And it says if he has covered 423 kilometers by train and 132 kilometers by bus, how much more distance is yet to be covered by him? and we are given the distance Raj covered by train and the distance he covered by bus. We are asked to find out what is the remaining distance that he has to cover yet. So let's see the first method in which we can solve this. So from the data given in the question, let's write the steps. Total distance to be travelled, that is equal to 732 km, and distance covered by train, it is given as 423 km. So after covering 423 kilometers by train, how much distance is yet to be covered? So how do we find it? Distance now remaining will be equal to the total distance to be covered or travelled minus the distance covered by train. So that would be equal to 732 minus 423, which gives you 309 km. So now 309 km is left to be covered, and it is said in the question that he covered a distance of 132 km by bus. So out of this 309 km left, he covered 132 km by bus. So now how much distance is remaining? How do we find out? Distance yet to be covered will be equal to 309 minus the distance covered by bus, and that is equal to 309 minus 132, and that gives you 177 kilometers. So this much distance is yet to be covered. So he covered 423 km by train, and he covered another 132 km by bus, and now 177 kilometers is left to be covered. So this was one method to solve this question. Now let's see the next method. So in this method, let's write the steps like this. Distance covered by train is equal to 423 kilometers, and the distance covered by bus is equal to 132 kilometers. So now let's find out the total distance covered by travelling in train and bus. So that would be equal to distance covered by train plus distance covered by bus, that is equal to 423 plus 132, and that gives you 555 kilometers. So out of the 732 kilometers, he covered a total distance of 555 kilometers. Now how do we find out how much is the distance yet to be covered? Distance remaining will be equal to the total distance to be travelled minus total distance covered. That is equal to 732 minus 555. It gives you the answer as 177 kilometer, the same answer. So whichever method you are using to solve the question, it gives you the same answer. Now we'll do an activity. All of you please turn to page number 46. In page number 46 you can see exercise 3.6. The first question in the exercise has to be done as an activity now. So please read the question very carefully and try to solve the question in your notebook. Just pause this video, finish the activity and come back. Hope you all are done with that activity. Now let's see how we can solve the question. So the question says there are 2162 balls in a bag. 112 more balls are first added and then 124 balls are removed. How many balls are left in the bag? So what does the question mean? There are a total of 2162 balls in a bag, and first you are adding 112 more balls into the bag, and afterwards you are removing 124 balls from the bag. Now how many balls are left? This is what you have to find out. Now let's see how we can solve this question. So let's write the steps first. The total number of balls in the bag, that is equal to 2162 balls. Now how many balls were added? Number of balls added is equal to 112. So after adding 112 balls, what is the total number of balls in the bag? Total number of balls after adding the extra balls, that is equal to 2162 plus number of balls added. So that would be equal to 2162 plus 112, and it gives you a total of 2274 balls. Now from this 2274 balls, 124 balls were removed. So how do we write the step for that? Number of balls removed is equal to 124 balls, and number of balls left is equal to the total number of balls minus the number of balls removed. That is 2274 minus 124, and that gives you 2150 balls. So now how many balls are left in the bag? There are 2150 balls left in the bag. So I hope you got the answer correct. Now you have to do the rest of the questions from the exercise as a homework. So the activity for the day is to do the questions from question number 2 to question number 6 of exercise 3.6 in your notebook. So children, that's all for today. We'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Till then, bye.